Hi there, my name's Aaron Short and welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm reacting to the incredible news that Oasis are reforming after 15 years. I still can't believe it still hasn't quite sunk in. Let's go through some key points right now. So first of all, Noel was very complimentary the other day on an interview with John Robb. So I knew something was coming. I've not heard him be this complimentary about his brother in a long time. And also there have been so many tweets and stories over the last kind of 12 months, especially from Liam, that something might be coming. So check out this clip from the John Robb interview, which is actually really worth watching. So check out the whole thing after this video.
The voice is an instrument. And it's the same thing with the Bee Gees. When you get two brothers singing together, it's something that you can't, it's unique, you know.
So when I saw that clip, when I saw that interview, I knew something may be coming, and also there's been so much hype. Then we had the rumors a day or two later, crazy rumors yesterday. I was thinking if these are not true, then there's going to be a real problem. I mean, there'd be a lot of very, very disappointed people. But lo and behold, I woke up today. I live in America, so my time was behind. I woke up in the morning, so the announcement had already been made, and they are indeed reforming for some shows next year. So because I'm in America, I'm disappointed there's nothing over here listed yet. But if they do add some shows, especially on the East Coast of America, I am definitely going. I was there at Nebworth, I was there at Earl's Court, and I want to go again. The only thing is, of course, that time was so unique and so special. The music scene was so incredible back then. Will this live up to that? Will it be different? I don't imagine there'll be a new album. If there's a new album and a new approach, a new material, that's one way to do it. But if they're going to play the greatest hits they played back in the day, will they still have that same swagger and energy that they had in the 90s? I don't know. I don't see why not. I feel like I still have the same swagger I had back in the 90s, but maybe I'm delusional. I don't know. So there's still many questions that need answering like that. So first of all, who will be in the band? For me, Oasis was the original lineup. I know this might be controversial to some, but when I discovered Oasis, it was on this show called The White Room, and it was the original lineup, and they just had this thing, and that got me playing the guitar. That got me into all of this. It got me being a professional musician my whole life. I loved it. That was it. Then when Alan White came in, it did add a new flavor, and I do think that was also just as good as the early stuff in a different way. The later lineup, when the original bass player and Bonehead left, I wasn't as into it. Then again, I was also older. They did do some cool things then, but the nostalgic side of me wants to see, I mean, I would love to see in a dream world, which will never happen, if the first set was the original lineup and the second set was the original lineup with Alan White on drums instead. So you had the two drummers, one per set. For me, that would be just, I would be so happy. But I think what we'll get is something like Liam's Definitely Maybe tour, but with Noel playing the guitar instead of the electric guitarist on that tour. Or something similar to that. I mean, that's fine. I was thinking when Liam did the Definitely Maybe tour recently, that if Noel had been there, it would have been incredible if he just walked out, even if he just walked out for one song. But I feel like during that tour, Liam really proved himself to Noel and all of us. Like, he just toured with John Squire with their album, and then he went straight on tour with the Definitely Maybe tour. And some of his vocal performances on those tours absolutely nailed it. They were killer. The best I've heard him sing since the early Oasis days. So I think Noel thinks it's now time. And he's also seen that tour worked. And next year they can do What's the Story Morning Glory, which will be even cooler, I think. So next question for me is, how will tickets be sold? This is the problem now. When I bought tickets to the Nebworth gigs back in the 90s, they were cheap and they were easy to get. Now we live in a world of high prices and scalping. And the fact Oasis haven't toured for 15 years. There's going to be a lot of demand for these from all over the world. So I really, really hope they do something like Ed Sheeran does, where you have to show ID at the gig. You know, you can't just buy tickets to resell them, because this is prime scalping material. And I hope we don't see that with this tour. The next question for me is, will there be a new album? It seems ideal for me. I mean, when the Stone Roses reformed, they did a couple of songs. They didn't do an album, and they were doing the original songs, which is great. I mean, the original Oasis songs are incredible. They're untouchable, right? Noel is so prolific, and Liam has been releasing so many songs over the last few years that they could easily do another album, surely, of really strong material. And that could be a great idea, because it could be like a new era. I'm interested to see if they do a new era with a new album and a new kind of sound? What do you think? Should they do a new album and kind of not move away from the Oasis sound, of course, but move in a slightly new direction to define the fact they're doing a new tour and they've reformed after so long? Or should they just do the greatest hits and try and do them as close to the original as possible? And in that vein, will Noel play the original solos, or will he have someone else play the solos? Because recently he said that he likes to play the open chords, and in his band High Flying Birds, he has other guitarists often taking the solos lately. Personally, I want to see him play them. Noel's solos are so melodic, and I feel like he plays them, well, he plays them with a feel. He has a feel when he plays the lead. I'd love to see Noel take most of the solos on the tour. This channel's about music gear. Pedals, amps, guitars. What gear will they use? What guitars will Noel play? Would he break out the 355? Would he use a new guitar? Will there be a new signature model from Gibson? They've released a lot of signature model guitars recently. Will there be a new one for this tour? And what equipment will they use? What mics will they use? What pedals will they use? At Nebworth, Noel famously used an amp, and he didn't even have a pedal board. He says he used like a tuner and a distortion or something. Very simple setup into an amp. That was it. Will he go back to that to pay homage to that time? Or will he use a guitar modeler or something? Doesn't really matter. And I don't think he will for a second, but I'm going to be following that as a music gear fan because I'm really interested. You never know. Times have changed a lot since Oasis were touring, and there's lots of ways now to add like the string arrangements, using tracks. I mean, there's been a big thing lately about the Eagles miming and using tracks. I don't think for a second that they're going to do anything like that. But will they embellish the performance with certain modern techniques that weren't available 15 years ago and certainly 30 years ago? Just the gear fan in me has to ask that question. So don't give me a hard time in the comments. So many unanswered questions, but I've got to say, a great day. I found myself this morning singing along to the early Oasis songs from my iPhone while making my coffee in the morning. And I'm sure lots of people out there did the same thing. There's this sense of revival and the old days coming back. Nostalgia, that's the word. There's a sense of nostalgia in the air. And also guitar, electric guitar hasn't been prevalent in popular music for a long time. Maybe this will bring back the electric guitar to the mainstream. Or maybe it won't happen. Maybe there'll be some kind of argument. I don't know. I don't want to say that because I don't want to jinx it. But we're still a ways out from the actual things happening. I also hope they do a bunch of live sessions for YouTube. We live in an age now where YouTube is massive. I'm on YouTube right now. I'd love it if they did some controlled recordings at like Abbey Road so the whole world could enjoy them from home as well. I'm very excited. Please put your thoughts and comments below. Will you be going to these shows? And what songs do you hope they'll play? And what are your thoughts on the whole thing? Let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.